Hello everyone, and welcome to the Awra Amba Community YouTube channel. This is the program called Journey to Peace. Stay together, then you will know a lot of things about Awra Amba. Do you know how Awra Amba Community was established? And do you know where is it located? What are the basic principles of the community? In our program called Journey to Peace, we will talk about such issues, so let you stay with us. Today, we talk about how the Awra Amba Community was established. The Awra Amba community is located in the Horn of Africa, particularly in Ethiopia. The Awra Amba community thought a lot and changed harmful traditional practices exercised in Ethiopia and other countries in different parts of the world. Then the community established a new and a progressive way of life that they started practicing. The community created a good system by living and working collaboratively, sympathetically, peacefully, and cheerfully. They treat each other as brothers and sisters. This idea was established for all the people in the world to use. Honorable Dr.Zumra is the founder of the Awra Amba community. According to his mother, he began speaking and asking questions with the ability of an adult person at the age of 2. At the age of 4, he raised 4 basic ideas such as respecting women's equality, respecting children's right, helping people who are in need, and avoiding bad-mouthings and bad deeds among human beings. Zumra raised these ideas as a remedy for what he noticed as unjust and unfair practice in his surroundings. The ideas and question that Zumra raised at the age of 4 are mentioned as follows. His mother and father were farmers. On the farm, they worked together. In the evening, when they returned home, his father was done for the day. But his mother's work continued in the house. His mother's duties were cooking wat, traditional sauce, baking injera, traditional pancake, collecting firewood, fetching water, nursing babies, washing her family members' feet, grinding grains by hand, etc. These house tasks were his mother's regular duties. Even if she worked around the clock, she was not able to finish all of the housework. If she did not finish something on time, his father would assault, insult, curse at, and sometimes beat her. When Dr. Zumra observed this situation, he couldn't tolerate what was going on. He said, "Housework was only my mother's duty, nobody else's. Farm work was shared between my mother and my father. The children who lived and were cared for in the house were both of their children. Why didn't my father help my mother with the housework when she helped him with the farm work? When she failed to accomplish all those house duties and farm work, why did he beat her? Does my mother have extra strength? Why didn't my father at least wash his feet by himself?" When I observed the division of labor between men and women, I thought it was just a problem between my father and my mother. But as I examined life outside my family, I realized that it was the exactly same in other families. Children at the age of 3 or 4 would be given work beyond their capacity. When the work was not done properly because of their inability to do it, they were told off. Without considering their capacity to do the work, they would be physically punished. At that time, he started asking questions why this was happening to children. Aren't they also human beings? Why are they given work beyond their capability and then punishing them? He observed people who were unable to work and who would fall on the ground because of aging and health problems. The people who were able to work and to support themselves enjoyed eating, drinking, and laughing with one another. But nobody was thinking about the people in need. He said, "These people are human beings just like we are. They also need to eat and drink as we do. However, they have no capability to work. If we ignore them, who will come to their help? If we leave them behind when they need us, then perhaps in the future we may also be in their situation. When we are old and sick, we will need people to help us. As we will need help from others, why don't we help those who are in need?" He saw and heard people insulting, cursing, lying, stealing, snatching, beating, and sometimes killing one another. Then he said, "When we do to others what we don't want to happen to us, what is it that differentiates us from other animals? If we don't think about mankind, And if we do bad things to our human race, what makes us better than animals? When he was disseminating his ideas, his parents said, "You don't think like others, you don't want to do what other people do. If you are behaving like this now, we don't know what you are going to do in your future. We don't think that you are aware of what you are doing, so you must be mentally ill." When they told him he was mentally ill, he started doubting himself, but couldn't figure out his illness. How could raising and promoting ideas of trust, collaboration, and helping each other be categorized as illness or insanity? All he said was, "Let us trust, collaborate, cooperate with one another." So how is he ill? Although the feedback he got was very challenging, he stayed with his parents for many years. When he turned 13, he was desperate to meet some like-minded people. Hoping to find such people, he traveled from place to place and spoke about his ideas in different social gatherings for about 5 years. While traveling, no one was there to take care of him, no food to eat, and no place to sleep. In that situation, he spent the daytime with people, but during the night, he was forced to stay under the tree surrounded by wild animals. Although he spent 5 years in these challenging conditions, he did not succeed in finding those people. After 5 unsuccessful years, he decided to return to his home village to become a farmer like his parents. He thought he would find peace of mind if he shares his harvest with people who are in need. So he asked his parents to find him a wife. His request for a wife led his parents to think that he is finally cured from the illness they thought he has long been suffered. And they soon found a wife for him and he got married. However, their thinking that he is cured did not last long. They cling back to the idea that he is insane when they learn that he gives his harvest to those who are in need. It really was devastating for them to see him not eating and drink well or wear good clothing, but gives his harvest to others instead of sharing with his relatives. Being surprised, he asked them, "Among us people, whom do you consider a relative and whom do you not consider a relative? For me, everyone is equal. Nobody chooses to be black or white. Making black or white is the task of the Creator. Being black or white is not only for us humans but also for other creatures. The Creator created Adam and Eve in the first place, and we all stem from them. Then, how can human beings not to be related?" As he asked this question, he was told that he was unable to distinguish between relatives and non-relatives because he was mentally ill. They said that after 7 successive generations you are no longer related. He again asked them, "When you reach the 7th generation, who says you will no longer be related?" Humans have created the idea that we are not related if we are not from the same family. This notion brings about hostility, and hostility brings about fight. If we could live by considering all human beings as sisters and brothers, there would not be any difference or hostility among human beings. When he realized this discrimination among people, he felt lonely within his community. He couldn't live in such loneliness. During dry seasons, he continued to search for people who would share his ideas. After spending a number of years in this situation, he was able to find some farmers around Awra Amba who were happy to listen to his ideas. As a result, he left his former community and went to stay with these farmers. When he clarified his ideas to these people, he was completely accepted. Hence, he established the Awra Amba community in 1972. The first concept Dr.Zumra and his friends discussed was about women's right. To him, women's right is natural, and he argued, however natural it is, the society has deprived that. Woman in her femininity is a mother and man in his masculinity is a father. As they become mother and father, why did the woman become a nursemaid and man become a commander? If this is because of physical strength, let us use this strength for work. If there is no mother, there is no father and vice versa. If calling women our wives gives the impression that they are distant relatives, let us call them our mothers. Therefore, he insisted that we should give back their natural right. The second topic of their discussion was how to eradicate conflict. The people listened to his ideas and asked him how conflict could be eradicated. His reply was that conflict has no root, and if we are aware of that, the resolution mechanism will be easy. The causes for conflict are bad-mouthings and wrongdoings. Instead Instead of imagining conflict in our mind, let us imagine love. We don't like it when someone does something wrong to us or talks badly to us, so we should not do to people what we don't like people to do to us. If we live in such a way, conflict will not exist. The next question his friends asked him was how we could bring about peace. He answered that peace can be achieved when the human race treat each other as brothers and sisters no matter what. If someone has a problem, all of us should lend our hands to solve that person's problem. This will make that person happy, and seeing someone happy is our wealth. We should share his, her happiness. When we live harmoniously with one another, we feel delighted. Having created delighted life brings about peace. If we bring about peace, we can bring about the paradise we want to have. Bringing about paradise is what we should do before death. Paradise cannot be created after death. Avoiding conflict and bringing about peace cannot be expected to descend from the sky. Paradise can be prevailed by what we do good to humanity when we are alive. As the result of their discussions, his friends agreed on the ideas that he brought forward. When they started practicing their shared principles, they faced a huge resistance from the neighboring people as they are seen as anti-establishment advocates. This resistance goes further to attempting to prohibit them from living in the area. Even if the antagonists tried to harm them, they continued struggling to reach their ideas to educated people. When they say educated people, they mean academic intellectuals and religious leaders. Until the educated people would hear their concepts, the members of the community decided to sacrifice their life. As time went on, the neighboring people continued their antagonistic hostility towards Dr.Zumra and his friends, and they reported to the Derg regime. Thus, the Derg regime decided to assassinate them. This resulted in Dr. Zumra and his friends having to flee their village in February 1988. They went down to the southern part of Ethiopia. In migration there is no occupation, and consequently no money. At that time they had nothing to eat, nothing to drink, and they had no money for medicines. During this period they lost many of their members and they buried them under bushes. Despite this difficult circumstance, they were determined to continue to reach educated people. In August 1993, they returned to their original place of residence, Awra Amba. When they came back, they found their farmland occupied by nearby farmers. Even though they applied to the Warida, zonal, and regional administrations to get their farmland back, they have gotten only 17.5 hectares, which can serve them for residence purpose only. Consequently, since the community members had no source of revenue, they suffered from starvation and disease. During this time, many of their fellows were died. At last they realized that they could not live only by farming. They decided to shift their focus to industry. In 2001, many journalists started coming to Awra Amba and disseminating Dr. Zumra's ideas. Since then, many people throughout the world heard about his ideas from different media such as magazines, journals, radios, televisions, and the internet. Spreading his ideals throughout the world allowed him to achieve one of his childhood visions. Currently, a lot of people from Ethiopia and abroad become curious, and even some mention their readiness to put the idea into practice. Even if the people are not practicing his ideas yet, they are interested in them. This is the first step for him. Until this day, since 1972, members of the community have been putting into practice what I have said above. This is what we brought you for today. Until we meet in the next program, we wish you all the best. Wherever you live, peace be upon you. Thank you.